One of the main challenges for socialist and social democratic parties in Europe, perhaps the first priority, the first thing they need to deal with, is the rise of so-called welfare chauvinism. Of course, it's a problem for socialist and social democratic parties in Northwest Europe, but it's also something all parties in Europe have to deal with. The idea, or at least the perception, that the welfare state is something from us or of us against them, especially given the context of the refugee crisis. This is an issue parties need to deal with in order to let the welfare state continue developing as it is meant to be developed, especially giving also the opposition of the populist parties. This is something social democratic parties in Europe have to find an answer to.
For me, the most important point of the day was the need for coordinated investment in all the European countries, and the documentation that if you do coordinated investment in active labor market policies in education, then it pays off in more jobs, in higher social security, and I think that's a very strong message.
The key point today, at least from my side, was on right-wing populism, where I believe that we need a much better analysis, as the debate today focused on labor market, which I think is important, but also analysis that is way too simple. What Danish People's Party, for our case, has been doing is that creating a sort of fear sense of loss. They've been doing that on questions such as identity, on labor pressure, on welfare pressure, on a growing elitist thinking within social democratic parties and the political system in general. And that sort of all combined creates what I would call a dislocation from the professor and political thinker Ernesto Laclau. So we need to address that point of view. And to do that, we also need a new strategy. What we have been doing is, one, we have had a sort of a flank closing strategy where we copy the Danish People's Party in order to challenge them. The other one has been sort of to deny their existence, a moralism strategy where we say that they don't have any influence, and we need to challenge that. And we need to do that on basic social democratic core values. That goes to being more labor, being more honest, and generally being more social democratic. So we have to create better answers. Danish People's Party have succeeded so far, and we have to challenge them on their answers.
I think the most important issue that emerged in this conference is the risk of a new normal situation. That is, the crisis is over, but we do not really see an exit. There are a lot of issues with current European strategy. There is an enormous lack of coordination among member states. We just have to do the homework, respect the rules, whereas we also learned today, but I mean in a number of very interesting contributions, that there will be enormous benefits to be reaped from increased coordination. So now the issue is, how do we get there? How do we reach more coordination between member states?